Align and vibe to all my goddesses and guys. I'm sending you guys all peace, love, and happiness and all that other good shit, right? Thank you guys for coming back. Thank you guys for being here. Today I want to talk to y'all about these 5 aspects of spirituality or life that people tend to overlook or people may dismiss throughout life, not be aware of maybe. I just pay attention to a lot of things, and I notice that people don't notice some of these things that I'm about to give y'all. My name is Shanante LaVecchia, and this is Fat Spirituality. So yes, there's 5, not 1, 2, or 3, but 5 different aspects that we're going to talk about today. And I'm not gonna stay too long or keep y'all too long, but just hear me out. Make sure that y'all like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, share, leave a comment, and anything else that you can do to pay it forward. If you don't need the information but you know that somebody else does, then share it or send. It will be greatly appreciated. So the first aspect that I want to talk about is perception. And I am not talking about personal perception. I am talking about spiritual perception. Let me break down the difference between the two. Personal perception is pretty much the way that people internalize something, like the way that people handle a situation based on their experiences or other things that they have internalized throughout their life. However, spiritual perception is a person being able to be that for themselves and others. So being able to see, think, feel, hear, and understand everything that you come into contact with, whether it's a dog, whether it is a fly on the wall, whether it is the clerk at the store, or whatever the case may be. Everything in the world is interconnected with everything else. And some people don't think like that, or are unable to think like that. Some people have never been presented with having to expand their mind so broadly, right? So spiritual perception gives you the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and to understand other situations from a different point of view or a different perspective than what you've been taught or what you've been used to. For a person to obtain a spiritual perception on something, anybody can obtain like spiritual perception. Everybody already has spiritual perception or consciousness and awareness. They just need to tap into it. So, you tap into that through, that's a whole nother story. I can do a whole nother video on tapping into your awareness or your perception. However, this video, I have to stay on topic and just stick to these 5 aspects. So if y'all want to know how you can tap into like being more spiritually perceptual, is that the word? Perceptual. I think that's the word. To be more spiritually perceptual. If that's incorrect, my apologies. However, I can do another video on that at a later date. Just make sure you comment and tell me that you need it, and I will gladly put it out there for you. So yes, once a person starts to transform their mind from personal to spiritual, or once a person is granted the gift of spiritual perception, once the person is granted the gift of spiritual perception, they are able to start seeing themselves in other people or in anything they come into contact with, for that matter. And that's where reflections come in. That's aspect number 2. Aspect number 2 is reflections. Because once you start to perceive things in a different light, you're able to see yourself in everybody else. So you'll understand why the kids don't know how to clean up the room, or you will understand why your boss is always frowned up, or you will understand why, you are always some type of way. Everything starts to open up, and then you'll start to be able to work on you, because that's pretty much what the whole journey is about. It's like you noticing what you do so that you can change you. And once you change you, the people around you will start to change them, and so on and so forth. It becomes a domino effect. And eventually, everybody will become better in themselves watching other people. So yes, reflections. Being able to see yourself and other people and seeing those people in you, knowing that you're no better than anybody else and they're no better than you, that either you're just a little behind on the journey and they may be more ahead, or vice versa. Maybe they need a little bit more assistance in certain areas and then maybe you lack in those other areas. And again, if we collectively come together and we exude all the things that we believe, then collectively everybody else will be happy. When we start worrying about ourselves and not what everybody else has going on, shit starts to align in a different way. The next aspect is alignment. You can learn about alignment through chakras, for one. That's where I learned about it. It's like your energy centers. They all need to be aligned for things to flow properly in your life. Alignment goes along with or corresponds with feng shui. If I may say, you can learn about alignment through Abraham Hicks teachings. That is where I learned how to indicate when I'm not aligning with my higher self or my higher purpose. Abraham Hicks, and you can find them on YouTube. There's books. The one that I read was Asked and It Is Given. And it made a lot of sense. It made me understand, like, okay, if I feel this way, then I didn't do something right. So when we are mad, angry, sad, depressed, or upset, or any of the lower vibrations, we're not in alignment with our higher self, with our true purpose in life. So we have to figure out what exactly is it in those situations that made us feel that way. And then how do we alter that? Like, how do we find another way to respond to that? When people say something that you don't believe in, or they say something that might, make you snatch your neck back or turn your head a little bit, work on your responses. Work on the way that you respond to those things. Because they may, even though you don't believe it, your response lets me know that there's some truth to it, or that you're unaware of it. And that's how people can read body language and emotions and stuff like that. It gets really, really deep, but it's not too deep for us all to be able to understand. It's just dope. That's all I can say, is that it's just dope. So you start to perceive things in a different way, and then you start to see your reflections. You start to understand alignment. And when you understand alignment, you will start to further understand that you're dealing with a lot of unhealed trauma. And trauma doesn't have to be something physical. Sorry, this is the fourth aspect. Trauma is the fourth aspect. We all have unresolved trauma that we're dealing with. Whether it comes from like physical trauma, whether it's abandonment, emotional, whether it's verbal abuse, whether it is, just being pessimistic. And then let me give you guys an example. So say, for instance, and it could be you or your cousins or whomever. Say, for instance, somebody grew up in a household like with a big family, right? They grew up with a big family, and their mother was always annoyed and always irritated because she had so many kids. She had so many kids and she couldn't handle it and whatever. So as you get older, you have one of two things that you're going to do. Either you are going to, and either way it goes, it's still going to be trauma, right? Either you're going to grow older and you're going to have the same big family and household that your mom had, being stressed out, like, I got all of these kids, but I had to have all these kids because they need to help me around the house type of thing. Or you may grow up and not have any kids, or maybe just have one kid because you're traumatized on how your household was ran as a youngin'. Again, either way, it's like, damn, that's trauma. This is why I'm dealing with this. This is why I think like that. This is why I'm that way. And it doesn't really have anything to do with you, but everything to do with how you were raised. Does that make sense? That's trauma. Which furthermore leads into the next, and final one for this video, healing. Like, we all have the ability to heal ourselves and our families, for that matter, and our kids, if you have any, for that matter, of the traumas that we've endured. Let's go back to the last case scenario, right? Your mom only had all of those kids because the grandma had the kids because the slave master needed her to make the kids so that the slave owner could produce more of whatever it is they were going for. But you too could have a lot of kids and use them to help build your fortune. Just like the slave owner used them to do that, now it's up to you and your family. If you're going to build a big family, then you can issue out these jobs and you learn your kids. You don't force them to do certain things, but you, as they grow up, you learn them, you figure out what they like to do, you let them choose the department that they want to go in, not choose the position, but at least the department, so that they can start to build up their, what is the word that I'm looking for? Build up their experience and whatever it is that they desire to do as they grow older, right? But us being parents, we got this parent, like, authoritative thing stuck in the back of our mind, thinking that parenting is not nurturing. Parenting is instructing, I guess. I don't know. But y'all understand where I'm going with that, right? At this point, if you've gotten anything from this video, like, share, subscribe. If you need more, make sure you turn on your notifications, because I can't say it enough, the enlightenment is coming. The enlightenment has arrived, okay? As much as I be in my own head about putting myself out here or doing what it is that I know that I'm called to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I need you to do it. I need you to become who you are, like, and be true to yourself, so that you can assist whoever it is that you need to assist in the world, so that you can fill your cup up and let it run over and help those people who follow up under you. I think it has a lot to do with where I came from, like how I used to be when I was younger, like when I was a child or even when I was a young adult, and not believing that other people can believe that I've changed. But it really don't matter, because I'm still me, but I'm who I am at heart. I'm not who I was on the surface of what the world had made me. And yeah, I just want everybody else to understand that we in this shit together, and no matter who, what, when, where, why, or how, with no judgment involved, I'm right here for your ass, okay? I will leave all of my social media stuff in the description box. If you have anything that you want me to discuss, write me on Instagram at Fats Spirituality. That's PHATS. Spirituality is the common spelling. And I'll get to you. I will get to you. I'll upload the video or whatever else it is that we need to do to collectively make us all become better. I don't have all the answers, so you don't have to take what I say as your personal truth, but make sure you're always willing to do your own research. Other than that, I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.